Warmest greetings, and we have a beautiful brother inside the house. So again, I want to give thanks to Tony Barbershop, one of the most conscious barbershop. We have a beautiful brother inside the house. He's going to introduce himself, his name. I don't tend to introduce the brother's name because I don't want it wrong because we're on YouTube and we're all over the world, you know what I mean? So, you know. And again, I want to give thanks to Tony, give the space to express ourselves. So, brother, how are you keeping?
A pleasure, my brother. Very well. A pleasure to be here with you.
Introduce your name, man. Let some people know the fruits of your name. Man.
My name.
Yeah.
Wow. My name is Siayome. My name is Siayome. I could give you my surname, but I don't know if that's even appropriate. But Siayome, and I'm also AKA also known as Ab Ankh Rem, which is my spiritual order name. Siayome is my name, my birth name, grown name. I've been called other names growing up.
Your birth name?
Yeah. My grandpa, and so forth. But I never used that name for a long time because I never even knew it was my name. It's a long freaking thing. Because growing up, Jamaica, Jamaican parents, half Madagascan, half Jamaican, my mother, and my dad's half Grenadian, half Jamaican. But you see, that generation that grew up in the 30s, because my parents were born early 30s, they never asked certain questions at all about origin, this and that. And plus they grew up with a kind of mentality where, you know, as children you're supposed to be seen but not heard. So they would even be talking to their grandparents and didn't even know are them grandparents. Because, or you got members of the family, cousins, this and that, and you don't know that they're your cousins and so forth. Because the way the parents, my grandparents, raise up, it's just a different type of mindset, you know what I mean? Some of us may say it's colonial, very more colonial, but they never, they kind of raised them children, which will be my parents born in the early 20s, as seen but not heard. There was a lot of discipline, a lot of strict type of way of being, but there was more connection to the extended family. So what you didn't get from the direct biological parent made up with another member of the family, especially in a large family, you know. But I grew up over here. I was born over here. I didn't grow up fully over here, but I was born over here. Nobody called me. Everybody called me Junior. Junior. Even though it's Junior, but them said Junior. So you even spell it Junior, right? And my father, my dad, they called me by his name, and nobody called me by his name. And when I was at school, that's the first time I'm hearing some name being called, and a woman's looking at me like that, and I go, and that's when I'm gonna hear, because they used to call my dad was Charlie. His name was Scarlett. One of the first group of family of cricketers that came from Jamaica. Scarlet. So they called me that, and I was like,
so you used to play cricket?
I never played cricket. I don't like cricket. Cricket is not my thing, but that was my dad's thing. Cricket and crossword puzzle. He would just do a lot of crossword puzzles and had the TV on, cricket's on, that would be it. Cricket. You'll just watch that. Crossword puzzle. Cricket. Crossword puzzle. Go work. Come home. Crossword puzzle. Cricket. Yeah. But he was a very jovial person. He was a Leo, and he was a ladies' man. You know, that type of stuff. But that's as much I would know. My brothers would know a bit more about that because I never grew up with my biological father. You know what I mean?
All right.
But my name Siayome came about where it's like, I was like, but what the heck am I being called this name I don't feel Charlie for, you know? And then I spoke with my mother, and it was a case where she's like, well, that's not your name. You know? And that will go into history that I don't need to really go into here on this thing. But this is when then it just all makes sense, because I also had a dream, which led me to go and talk to my mother. And then I found out, like, basically, as a ritual, I was supposed to sleep in my grandpa's bed. My grandfather, on my mother's side, how'd that go? My grandfather, who's my mother's father, but my grandfather, not that one, but my grandfather, who's my grandmother, my mother's father. You see, that side of stuff. And it was a thing you sleep in, you know, we would sleep in his bed and it was like no harm come to it and that. But I was over here and it didn't happen, you know, because I was the first one to be born.
All right then. What I want to do, I want to jump deep into the reasoning though, because I want to look at the whole thing about religion and the thing about God. And the reason why I want to talk about God, because last time I talked to Amanda, right?
Alright,
come tell me, said God is in the sky.
Up in the sky.
I'm said to the brother, but tell me something, people go up there all the time and don't say
nothing.
Don't say nothing.
Yeah.
I think about religion because the religion thing of us a strong way, yeah, we don't know. Yeah. So I want to broke loose my way now, yeah?
Well, I mean, that I feel is a very important thing to really get clear inside of us because it's our power source. And if you're disconnected from your power source or how to relate to your power source, then you are in a deficit straight out.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be caught up. And this is what's happened with religion. Religion being from the word, was it legere, re in their language, meaning again, okay? When that word re, R-E, spelled R-A but pronounced R-E, re as in R-A-Y, originated the one. Originated meaning the one, you know, as re, ra, even where ora come from. But then you got what they've used as words to say religion, which means to tie back again.
Tie back again, I've heard it, yeah.
Now the thing is, if you're connected to source, then why do you need to be tied back again? That's telling you being disconnected, and you now need to be reconnected. And then what they're telling you, your religion is to be reconnected to God. Well, that's not the Creator. What has been the thing with religion? Very important to understand here. Okay, let's go in this. This will be brilliant because with religion, everything in the Bible, all the books, 66 books, which in ancient Ethiopia, you got 81, 88 books. All the books, right? All the books. That's in that book, which Bible means. Yeah, book. And those stories or those books originated. They're coming out from the Sumerian tablets. They're coming out from ancient Kemetic papyrus, teachings, ideology. The book of coming forth by day that they call the Book of the Dead. You've got books dealing with like the Enuma Elish, Gilgamesh epics. You got the Book of Enoch, whose name is Book of Enoch. Oh my gosh. There's remnants of the Book of Enoch in the Bible. But if people were reading the Book of Enoch, in addition to what they're reading called this Bible, they would have more of a clearer understanding of what's going on in this day. What's happening on this planet. They would understand. They would not be so crazy thinking extraterrestrials or so. What you talking about extraterrestrials? We chat about alien. We don't chat about them thing there. They wouldn't be so quick to dismiss that stuff. And they wouldn't be so contradictive, especially religious folk, who if you talk about that, the reason why I say contradictive is because dictive is that when you look in the Bible, it tells you that gods, beings came from above to the women of the earth. You know, we saw that the women of the earth was fair, which means beautiful in Aramaic, which they call Hebrew, and went in unto them. Some took them, and some went in unto them, right? You've got Babylon, yeah, which people don't understand. This goes back to Sumerian culture. This goes back to Mesopotamia. This goes back to you know, the Phoenicians and things like that. In fact, the Phoenicians, Mesopotamia came after, but Mesopotamia was within Babylon, and Babylon was created as a city by Nebuchadnezzar, and even by the name Nebuchadnezzar shows you it's got nothing to do with English, nothing to do with European, nothing to do even with Jews. Right? It's Nebu goes back to the word mean master. Nebu goes back to ancient Kemet, which they call Egypt.
So everything go back to
ancient Kemet.
Yeah, ancient Kemet.
And it's important to, this is where you get alchemy and chemical from, right? So we're still dealing with the question, but we have to kind of set a little foundation to understand where everything connect up to. When we're, especially when we're chatting about God. Because that's a German word, mean good. And it just means good.
But it's a German word, means good.
Yeah, it's a German word.
German word,
means
okay.
good.
Good.
And when you look at the word God, it's only missing one O.
Yeah.
For you to see, oh, good.
Good. Okay.
And then what did they? What did the people, Christian people? What do not Christians? What do religious people do? Religious people say you must be good to please God. Yeah, so it's just about good, being good, goodness. But the idea with people, they don't feel they have inherent goodness, so they're trying to do things to please whom's supposed to be the source of goodness, in order to feel validated, in order to feel worthy, in order to feel, oh, embraced by the source of life, and like, oh gosh, wow, ain't that great now? Now I've pleased God, everything is cool. But then that leaves you in a condition of manipulation.
Yes, true.
Because if you don't please what you consider as God, and what do you have to do to please God? You see what I mean? Leaves a lot of people in guilt and feel that they are not deserving of the grace of what they call God.
Let me just jump in here, right? Let me just jump in. And the reason I'm jumping in here, right, because you made some serious reference, right? But the reason I'm jumping in here, right, as you look at religion, it's very manipulative, yeah?
It is manipulative, big time.
Right?
It's got nothing to do with spiritual.
And at the same time, if I'm saying it's manipulative, right, we say, cause we had a thing about abusive relationship and so forth, right? We just say then, religion then, right, it's abusive.
Of course it is.
And manipulative.
Of course it is.
Okay.
It is on the case that, firstly, religion and spirituality is not the same thing. Even His Majesty, Haile Selassie I, tell you that. And, you know, you have a lot of folk who says, well, why? Well, they deal with Selassie because Rastafari, Lynch McConnell, who became Ras, when he became a marshal, when he became, where you get the name Rastafari from.
Yes.
And it means to be revered, not head creator.
That's why I was told that he said
head creator. No, it means to be revered. It means
okay.
It's from those, and this. I don't study Geese, so I'm not saying that I know Geese inside out. But those who do study Geese have shown me in Geese what Rastafari mean and what it don't mean. So, but even we're talking, and Haile Selassie I, or Selassie, because the way we pronounce it over here is Rastafari. In Ethiopia, we say Rastafari. Yeah, but that is even there, right there, right? He's shown you that don't mix up and get it twisted. You know, spirituality is not religion. And religion is not spirituality.
Yeah.
He tell you that religion has been made by man, meaning man's egoic personality, material-minded man. Yeah, and that it was intended to help you spiritually, but because how the material-minded man, that force identification people use to identify themselves with, that corrupt. It become corrupt and used to manipulate people and abuse people. Yeah. And just basically keep people in a lockdown. Worshipping other people's egoic personality, which ain't got nothing to do with the source, the source of life, the essence of life within themselves, which they are emanations of, which is what spirituality is. Spirituality starts with your body. These things here, right here, so them call it temple. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Temple come from tempus, which deals with time. So this is your time capsule.
Alright.
Yeah? Mind and body, vehicle, time capsule. As you sojourn through this experience for a period of time. Stepping out of eternity from where you have drawn your entire being from, because your soul is the eternal, immortal reality of yourself. It's your true identity. ID entity. Looking at the words. Yeah? So you're an entity. Yeah? And the ID, it goes back to the most primal force in you, which goes beyond morality and goes beyond the stuff that we we use to control others and put labels on things and say, like for example, fire is neither bad or good. It is what it is. It's an element, just like all the other elements. And it's the intention behind the use of that element that determines whether the outcome is going to be beneficial or non-beneficial based upon its outcome coming from the intention. But the thing in itself is neutral. There's no good or bad. These are based on what you call interpretations,
so
it's the mind.
It's the intention.
It's always the intention. It always is. You see what I mean? So we go there. So what happened now? Yes, religion has been used to abuse enough people. Yeah? But how it's being done and how it's being used we have to understand the science of that. Plus we have to understand that just because some people are religious don't mean they're not spiritual in the true sense of the word. This is what I've had to come to understand, because when I rebelled against religion, I was always asking questions about, because I felt that I'm supposed to have a direct communion with the source of my being. You know what I mean? Serious, But you brought up telling you got worship this thing outside, and you just feel the guilt. From a child, you feel this fear and guilt that you don't know. But this is what they tell you is God. So they put you in an emotional state straight away that makes you feel
guilty, man.
Yeah, man, that you are not good enough. Check about the good. Oh gosh, we're all sinners. Sin just means missing the mark. And sin goes back in Babylonian language of Nanasin. It was a moon goddess.
Moon goddess.
Yeah. It's not ooh, wow, man. People being hoodwinked really bad, And the thing is that it's what it's done to the emotional nature of ourselves.
Okay. Yeah. We've got 3 minutes left. We haven't started the reason yet.
For real?
Yeah, but you can go on. We can.
Continue. All right. Okay.
So to really get this, because so when we deal with religion and not spirituality, we are conforming to a mental construct that has been used to control people and keep them in fear, through fear, and to worship what is not the source of your being, but to worship entities who have been called God by the English definition. But when you look into, like, you read, if you learn a little Hebrew and you look into the Hebrew book, like the Torah, which is supposed to be the origin of the Old Testament.
I don't want to cut you here. We've got about a minute left, so I want to bring this to the close. Then we're going to part 2. Is that okay then? Yeah?
So continue waiting. We've got 2 minutes.
We've got 2 minutes left, yeah? Okay then. So we've actually got 2 minutes left. So if you could just mention your name again, right? Because we want to go to the next chapter straight away.
Okay, and continue from what I was about to make out. Okay, because I thought we was going to leave that and just leave it in here.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Siayome, a.k.a. at Uncle Rem. And I'm an intuitive soul counselor, healer, therapist, and psychologist, spiritual psychologist, if you want to use all of that. But the thing is, what I do is about reconnecting oneself to source. It's not even reconnecting, it's about source direct. SourceDirect.com. Because this is what it's about in this time, and we're moving in we're dealing with a different period, a different era that we're in. And it just was, for those of us who were seated in this planet late 60s, 70s, onward, or middle of the 60s, what am I saying? But you didn't have much of us coming in. There was like certain particular ones coming in, even, throughout various time. But now, from the revolution in 65 onward, when we had Pluto conjunct in Uranus and Virgo, which sparked the revolution, we have had more of the children coming in that
we're going to bring this set to
know themselves.
I'm going to go to the part 2 very, very shortly. Give thanks.